Meeting of the Illinois Park and Recreation District Board. One. Order roll call. So we've got here. We have one change. Like to make here is the December 15th special meeting. I think it's December 17th. We handle that change. I'm setting motion to that agenda. Version good. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Public comment. You have some public?
No, we don't really know why we're here. We just figured we'd come and see if there was anything new. Oh, we just thought that you know, Katie suggested we come do this. So here we are, but I can ask you a question, but I don't know if this is the right time. I think this
is the right time. Yeah, if you guys want to participate in today's meeting.
Okay, but basically we want to find out if, apparently not yet, but if at some point the rec district could take over the responsibilities that we are dealing with Teton Valley Pickleball, which in the summer, that's outdoors on property that belongs to the city of Driggs. Indoors, which is where we really have more trouble, is at the school, and I don't know if you know that. That's why we have been looking for some information, but you know, you might not want to say anything today. We can just sit and listen.
Okay. Well, why don't we discuss that under actions for matter of subdirectors? We did have a discussion. Public comment, approval of the minutes. Let's see, let's start with the ones. The December 7th meeting minutes. Are there any changes to that?
I just noticed that meeting was hold on. So may I there's not any from me. Try to approve them, but spoke with around last meeting. No. Well, no, there's no issue on that.
Oh, just any other thing? Motion to accept the December 17th minutes with the correction. Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, I'll vote this wasn't present. January 13th minutes. Just change it, put date on top. January 13th. I'm not sure what the proper terminology is here, but under new directors, Matt Ricky and the real life don't know that this process. You might add sworn in by Tim T. County Clerk.
We experienced technical difficulties both during our meeting and our meeting afterwards. So I put together the best that I could with what I had. But I double checked everything and I got here early today to make sure we got everything.
Then under the minutes, December 9th, we approved that December 13th.
Well, we approved December 13th, but the meeting was on 17th, so whatever we said wasn't that. So that's why I didn't have a big week from today.
Okay, so we did
So
actually approve
December 9th.
To go to the Sunday, and it was. We did not motion that.
that was the correct.
Yeah.
Make a note of that.
Maybe rights, more just formatting stuff, I guess. I think we should list everyone's name at the top of the minutes.
Just. um, put it up there. And then. Just minor stuff, capitalizations and things like that, like I don't know how you want to receive that, I don't do that here. But I would like to be able to provide that back to Katie today. So. However, she would like that.
That's fine.
Yeah, that is,
Okay.
yeah, they, yeah, I guess a 8 minutes. No, people will call it.
And then, just throughout the minutes, when you are putting specific comments. Attributing to that director, because it's just, this is a way to represent us to the public. So just. I know you have.
It had everybody as Katie Bradbury, and because I didn't have the video to match the audio to match, and I couldn't put. So the transcript had everybody that came and talked under Katie Bradbury. So again, we had horrible technical difficulties, that's why those minutes are pretty shoddy. But I tried to get the information the best that I could from what I was able to take at the meeting and what I was able to pull up on.
So you're using recording, and that's.
I had to use the recording and the transcript and the notes that I was taking off to the side to put together these minutes because we were having technical issues over there and with these speakers.
Yeah, I try to avoid you.
I normally would, but again, I had to try to get as much of that meeting down and documented as possible. So yeah, that's why those minutes were probably the worst ones I've put together so far.
I mean, they weren't terrible, it's just little things, because we're just a meeting over there to make sure that it's. Sure.
One of I have is item number 7, it says Dave Begard, they didn't speak with Ray, was who spoke for them, so that'll be Ray regarding. So Dave. If you have a list of corrections you put in, I would say, this, I would. Yeah.
I guess it was mostly, it was minor stuff, would be affected anything that, maybe it's just.
Also, I said, as a.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the January 13, 2026 minutes as edited. Both favorable. So.
Anderson, the director, subject district. Man.
Yeah, so I had a nice exchange with the city of Victor, putting together a joint powers agreement, mostly based on the Driggs, received no edits. I think it's generally they are ready to get to the agenda either in February or early March. I think you guys will see. I think. I apologize. I didn't actually check this in. So this was updated with. This is just a title change. I think that we talked about. One. Last I didn't really find them shared by. Yeah, on the agenda that each team put them in.
Yes.
Everything else was so.
So I just took exhibit A, retired. Facilities, parking recreation district. Yeah.
Yeah, change.
Yeah.
Will it be? Yeah, you think the third person go to.
No, this is, see, it's, yeah, part of the duties.
The point administrator.
Yeah, understated operations, so this would be. Agreed upon by Martin's and operation. And in most cases, it would be an existing. You know. A. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So it's relative to the powers and duties of that board, and that they're saying that they can include the administrator, that they have to.
Right. We chose to one side, and then somebody who's covered with costs and better discussions, but.
So do you think that's a line that needs to be added?
I don't think so, and it's good, it's just a. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's in both places. No, it's just a matter of the question came up, who would pay for it? And
Yeah.
when I mentioned it, just, we just figure that out. The choice of better word on fly, but the board would decide, who can put some. They come to us, we bad, or the city, but.
We could edit section 4C. District agrees to pay that whole portion of ongoing maintenance expense on certain upgrades to facilities. We could have that be ongoing maintenance and administrative expenses.
That might get a little more confusing, because then you're starting to think about, let's take the city's administrative costs, associated with article. So those and not. This is more if we decide to appoint, if that the board decides to appoint an administrator to oversee something, then at that point, they're going to have to pay for that person, which is different. I think we started talking about administrating that brings a lot of overhead costs that, they can.
Okay. Yeah, and if you think if you feel covered with the language as it stands,
I'm
comfortable with you with that.
Yeah, that stuff we had worked on was good with that.
Okay.
Is part of the staff discussion that was in.
Great. Sounds good. I suppose the next open thing to kind of maybe discuss relative to specifically to Victor, or really to all of them, as we develop these JPAs, is the process we want to implement relative to soliciting the third person on those joint powers and boards. do we want to kind of come to an agreement about how we go about that? Is that something we bring it to? This says that it's selected by, in the case of Victor, myself, and whoever the city of Victor appoints from the town council for their side, but those two can pick. I want to talk to the two of you about how you felt that should go, that should happen, and if you'd like some involvement in that selection.
I think, I think they're probably fine with that selection, I guess. Probably the only would be maybe if for some reason we decide, first better would be allowed, say, and for whatever reason, that person. We have a discussion.
Yeah, I mean, if first, like, if we wanna put someone forward and they wanna put someone forward, with like, it's the tiebreaker. I guess would be one thing. That way, proceed.
Okay. And I'm also wondering, well, yeah, I just think it's a negotiating, tie break happening, my answer to that. It will be either of both sides, if it's so entrenched where say it's gotta be, so why don't go from wherever they say it's gotta be.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't see really a problem. I mean, I would expect. Both regional. Is the city, you will agree that this person, good person, be better. It's me.
Okay.
It's Brad, I guess if you bring somebody and say this is the person, and both Sarah and I gotta know, we know that person, that is not the person. That would be, and at that point, I guess we have the power to do that anyway, so.
What would the city council then? After also.
I would think they probably could,
As written, it says that that person will be, chosen by, the rec district, representative, and the council representative, and he needs only be a resident of the district, so.
Yeah, I don't, like I say, I don't see the problem.
I think they should
Surprise.
do this, so this is the specific to Victor. It seems like it should be a sample people. Where when we get to the county one, that can be.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that, you said?
A chief, that's.
And I suppose the other thing I think we should do as a part of this discussion, if it's agreeable to the two of you, would be to choose me as the representative of the district board, and she's will take my steps. It's all changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have any targets. I think I know I have one target. You know who she is. We'll see if she's agreeable.
So I need to run change preparation, the sense workshop, I said, we will do the city council, one by the mayor, one by the council. And we will people quite part of that region, just board. No. And a citizen.
Which section?
A. T. Okay. Those by the.
So I think, yeah.
Cool.
So would the motion be to adopt this as edited?
I think I'm not sure it addresses yet, it's still what happens with revenue from fees or donations specifically.
Okay.
Because Jeff sent us the note, like the JPA should spell out which entity will be collecting these fees. Because that will be responsible for buying the requirements of Idaho Code 63-13 and respect to within the fees. I know like some of these facilities listed already have fees imposed to certain groups, not all groups.
Okay.
I know it was mentioned that Victor in particular in the past has not charged fees for their facilities to profits. Which I think is fine this in general, but there is still fees associated with these facilities. Are they collecting it? Is it going to the general fund? Are they collecting it? Is it going to the Parks and Rec fund? I think that needs to be identified. If someone wants to donate to us specifically for that, then we're still working on that.
What's the data?
One, with as use with this, you take the example of either a Sherman Park or a city park, right? Sherman Park posting Teton Valley Foundation that X-ray they're agreeable with the city. Teton Valley Foundation sees that Teton Valley Foundation have also not actually collected by the city of Victor, so that is not a fee that we would meet the criteria that Jeff outlined. That might be a question for Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Income. Making sure that we I see they Teton Valley Foundation already has before it. So, the Teton Valley Foundation, do they have some sort of GPA in place? Yeah, yes, I don't know all of the Teton Valley Foundations, and how they partner with the city, and so.
What happens if the musical need funds that are collected? It's long.
Do you know that they don't charge fees on paying to use city park? So it's, which is fine, I'm not saying we need to charge everybody fees and things, but. Some.
But if these are charged, this requires us to.
Yes. So
Yeah.
the 4th of July, if they do collect fees from those vendors.
One of the things my understanding, I guess, a little bit was trying to get this GPA in place so we start working with them. One of the things that I'm planning to take to talk about with you guys today is how we want to approach budgeting with them. I do have a meeting to ask people there. Victor's account treasurer, right? I don't know exactly what the title is. And to start reviewing the draft that exists in the current budget. And it's possible that we could say we want to have this question of fees answered or some language adopted JPA to address that, or that it is tied each year, sort of the re-upping or the repeating the agreement on a yearly basis. That's the language in here that's somehow tied to the budget. That's precedent. That's definitely we want to take, or we want to let them operate in their path.
with the Justin of the JPA should spell out.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm not doing it.
I'm looking, trying to figure out which one was here, that's what I see.
So I think this is just, January 14th, is that John? 16th, is that what we're talking about? I don't, GPA is pounds of this. I thought you addressed the about Tory district concern by us.
It's.
It's 5%. Which,
That's.
once, Nixers already got to be following
Yeah.
themselves, yeah.
They're very that I don't familiar with it, it's like this, but. Anything that we want to impose it beyond, we have to.
We collect,
Options get full for maybe that. Information. But might even be public hearing actually. Needs to be. And I guess the main thing for me with these, facilities update themselves, so feasible. Helping us, avoid raising taxes, creating levies, some of these facilities are paying themselves. That's great.
do we think of the cover at this point in time, with the JPA picture, maybe this is just year one, and we can edit it in future years? Would say the JPA will spell out that Victor is the only entity to collect, retain, and use fees on these facilities.
Well, what if we decide? What if we do something else?
Right, I suppose what I'm suggesting is that I don't know, sort of capital project or a program, yeah, in the pipeline will be collecting fees in 2026.
Probably not. But if we can get one here at the line, that would be really fun. For city councils. That really, if we can figure out what we change that, what we do and, special need. We have. We want them all, but that's a problem. I think we better get it done.
Okay.
Right.
So is it maybe better to think that about the JPA as having a separate fee usage paragraph, really explicitly?
Yeah.
Said,
If we don't, do we discuss?
And we probably somewhere under financing and budgeting, but. It only talks about expenses and costs, it doesn't talk about revenue. So I think there's a place for it in there, just. We're discussing these expenses, so it's, getting money.
Right.
Versus we're working together with revenue and expenses.
Let me do this, let me, get with Jeff, see what we can do to. Cover that. Sure, which one, as well.
Especially for it's not these related to JP.
Yeah, hopefully, this time. I won't.
yeah, I mean, somewhere in section 4, manner of financing, I think it's really just that. And I would suggest that we have really talk about that issue to these collective work. Bad it and go bad it. Just I think.
And then within our statute, we're fixing like fees, charge for the use of district facilities. And also to reduce more way the same just amount we can be able to pay. So I feel like if we're not spelling this out in the VPA, we might be able to issue with waivers to the same.
Okay.
Go ahead. Nobody else, you know?
Yeah, good heads on that. AM at 79 since.
Yes.
When I hold it off, it down, so that. Didn't turn off, but then so that's gonna be. The burden, yeah, it's awesome.
And she can still look at those, Google ones, upward. Since we have.
Yeah.
So Victor Driggs and Teton are currently moving JPA, even though she thinks that correct.
Okay.
Teton also, yeah,
I just received that quote for you today, so I will do this.
back from those past.
And,
Okay.
we go through it essentially, this is the same as Victor's. It's on their agenda tonight to discuss. So I'm not sure the city council is seeing it until March. So.
Yeah, it wasn't clear if we had to go first or the cities had to go first, I don't know if it really matters.
It has to go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I mean, ideally, it's the. Both of our lawyers looked at it and said, yeah, it's all good. They got, you know, to us and say, yeah, can't. With staff, those, so that this is very. So.
Oh, you know, that reminds me, Jeremy, the city manager, asked me to produce a little bit of a synopsis for them in terms of. Basically explaining it to city council, they're playing with it, I don't know how to teach it, you know, say. Use for active or however.
No, I've just been going to their meetings and
Yes.
chatting with them,
Okay,
so
um,
they have an idea. what's-
well, when I get done driving, I'll share it with you guys, you see how that staff report is. Sort of getting compiled.
Yeah, the county, they just sent it to us on Thursday. I had sent to Katie because she had her work with me on the county, really, you know. I was just this for her to step in. And help out. We're school and something when I could go sit out there. Take on a little more ownership. But it looks quite different than the other. So, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it before.
Is that because it's using their draft versus ours?
Yeah, we started with it.
That's how it's actually.
How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I think they're probably open to some kind of. Meshing. So they might even have some stuff that we want to be doing in these cities, I think. I mean, they, instead of defining the places that we're gonna.
Facilities.
Specific facilities, they just define like open space park. They don't really name anything, but they define. Places that would fall under it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
In terms of
You'd rather
describing
me-
like river access points
So they have-
or open space.
I think we'll. So.
Okay.
Because statute, so.
I mean, I guess I would just say in our lives would be easier if we had a very consistent JPA and then, you know. Maybe the school district gets an extra paragraph because there's some topic relative to. You know, these statutes that they have to follow and forward, but if the majority of it was. Consistent, it's less times we're billed by Jeff for legal advice, you know, just a lot of sense and our money, we're sharing it, and you know, they can, we get access to it. But do
I can take the action to build their fire. Do you want to?
We can keep working with Dan.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the plan, the rec plan, is kind of who we turn into on this, so he's very responsive and.
Okay.
He does all the time, yes, so,
Yeah.
Okay.
but I think we can probably meet with him. Try to love them a little better.
Yeah,
You guys gotta meet his
Yeah,
office on Thursday, so. we can have time to-
sure.
I'm not sure.
Well, I think we're, the plan is to have a special meeting. Why don't we, take some, I'd like to take some time to review each quote on Google Thursday. See if it can be modified into, you know. Well, modified into Victor's or Victor's modified into it, if fine thing going, add all the way. We'll start with this.
And you just right over there, so I'm sure you could come in and stuff when you have to. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it probably hesitate to, and then probably keep what we have, Victor and Victor is consistent with what we've got already. Yeah, run those fast. Boy, we'll get the key point. If we see something that's popping out in town, that is out there, we like do that.
Well, I think just two
Let's
things
know.
to popping out right now. One is the fee, one is the facilities definition that seems to be happening in there. Though, you know, we just treat it an exhibit, it's listed, but it doesn't say. It doesn't have the kind of background about what constitutes a facility. It's really just talking about the property that any facility might exist on, you know, we have to exist on those real parcels within Victor. So that's how we. I was reading the Victor JPA was to say Sherman Park is listed there in the exhibit. Anything happening in Sherman Park is considered a parks and recreation facility. Counties come in and said, well, we have a little bit better definition of that. Maybe because they have places like, I don't know, a field and a gun range or a river access, whatever that are not.
Conservation piece over here that maybe we use for.
Yeah, so
So what do you, so you're suggesting to use a more broader definition?
It's fairly broad.
yeah, it's gonna be more descriptive.
She could help us identify new places to if we need to. I might qualify sort of like a space use for recreation, but we wasn't identified. It was the title.
Yeah, I guess I'm more, I think. This is becoming pretty broad, I think, I mean, in my mind, I think we need a specific, we need to know what that facility is. And not, it could be open space something. Because I don't think that's, I mean, it's a broader definition, but it's not.
I mean, we haven't done this yet, but I've got a little journal entry going with every farming rec facility I think exists in Teton, Wyoming, or Teton and Idaho. Not Wyoming, I haven't been out of this yet, but yeah, I just think it's much more concrete within these municipalities, it's much more open-ended. So if we want to be specific, it might be that very specific list.
Yeah,
Right.
I see what you're saying. See. So if we decide, let's just use them. We can spend on this, and he's purchasing.
Okay.
If we purchase these ones, not would be open. If we will pass, yeah, so. County purchase these, would be part of the things that don't facility. Is there any? Yes, this would be a question. Legal, have an exhibit. That exhibit changes. Is. It's similar to our budget and projects, over the year, even though this thing will get signed off every year, but it's the same monthly change. It directs us to then apply whether those projects are going to with that committee. Yeah. Good. Is the exhibit similar? Yes. Let's say we want to purchase a easement of walking. In conjunction with the county, so is that part of adding that to facility first, is that a problem that we deal with every year? How do you do that? Is that the legal? Well, how that exhibit
It's part, it's a legal question, and I'm sure there's legal documentation around security and easement in terms of who the grantors and grantees are and those things. It to me, I'm almost wondering now if some of the generality of the county JPA finds way into the cities, because the cities do have a more obviously defined boundary, but there's no reason to believe that there might not be some easement granted at some point in time with any cities that we want to pull out for, probably currently unlisted facility exhibit must be added or be taken advantage of. Well, that mechanism be,
well, let's do this, let's on that I've got to say. What's your thoughts on this? Is this specific enough? I mean, yeah, it's as broad as we can be at best. I think that's the most legal. One thing what do you think? Happy with them? Okay, it's got to be good statute.
It's fine in terms of putting such should we automatically extend the parties for additional 1 year terms in the same terms and conditions as agreement modified or amended by the court parties? Additionally, defining the Courthouse, 30 days for implementation. Yeah, so it sounds like we can maybe only modify on a year basis that rate. So I think it is important to just put that on. Hey, the outside wants to change their easements for the AJ Trail, but somehow associated with Cross Rag, try to feed or this might be. In that example, how would we handle it with the JPA is written? How would we modify JPA? What would we do with that 1%? That situation.
Yeah. Well,
The county, they have an article that's listed for the disagree that maybe admitted only by written additional funds. So that to me, so that can be amended.
it just has to go to the president. Yeah. I mean, you can change.
That's I like that. You know, that's just keep that we see change into it.
Yeah, you can change it instead of those that. Let me do this, I will run that question by. I've got two based on how to provide this. We'll just back a second on the nope, there'll be somebody who ran into somebody about the zip line in Sherman Park. Yeah, we'll get into that. You know what we can do now. You know, whoa.
So you said one on the playground?
So I'm aware of it.
Oh, it's just that little. Part of the playground, yeah, it's just a little,
Oh,
Like, yeah, you just hold on to it and kind of.
is this a component of the playground?
That-
That would probably, whoever built it. You just have to run by whoever built it.
I mean, I did a playground in the draft budget, Jasmine was gonna say, I don't know where you guys. Think about that, I think we have a budget discussion today, but yeah, I'm not aware of like a zip line.
I didn't know what it was.
Alright.
Okay. Might be worth asking, what is that? That's good. Yeah, first take my, pick the other blind, we'll go through it. Good one, scale of me. What you said. Anything else, Victor? No. Okay, so, as far as, and for me, we've already pretty much discussed all the discussion of the JPA Driggs. It's called expanding the path. Yeah. I similarly, since we're talking about easements, about 3 weeks ago, I met with,
Wait a minute.
I-
Do I know this?
yeah, we all, let's see. His name was still up, he used to be, planning to, yeah. Oh, things that walk from my goodness, man, those. That's all. Coffee, like, those, Cotton. Way Cotton.
Wake up,
Way
okay,
Cotton. And he was pursuing multiple easements. One, that was open, and then one, hopefully. Big corner there. No, yeah, with parking, they kind of was like your plan there, right? Not like,
where we at, Grove Creek?
yeah, the Crow Creek, that.
Oh, that one's different, yeah,
Yeah,
Grove is the different one, yeah.
Yeah, Crow.
No.
No, he has
So
a
Wake
way,
Up is working on easement at Whole Canyon and Grove Creek.
Crow Creek, and also working, so we put off the. One up that, and hope that's we're. Oh, I'm all off and probably working. With, you know, working.
That's residency, the park there and the big blocks, but.
Yeah. And it's used correctly. And so. The one up, Garden Creek. Grove Creek. Oh. Grove Creek seemed to be the one that's gonna happen soon, that the soonest. And so I haven't talked to him, we call last week. Status.
This is through Skylanders or?
It's a multiple, I mean, it's a combination of his own efforts.
Okay.
As he's. Coach Allen. The pathway is also. There's some different grants that pursue those. So it was brought up as something maybe potentially could, funds for those. I know talking with multiple people, easements, the path, public access is going. And those are also places. Or purchase. The facility, but.
Where is the information is currently stockpile?
Wade was the one that had.
Okay.
I had. Some. Tentative. Toxic for them, I'll go follow through it, and see what. What's happening, because at one point, so one was going to happen, hopefully soon,
And by having it soon, you mean this relative to grant application soon, is that the time?
either or the easement itself and.
And what's your understanding of who is a private property granting an easement to Teton County?
The county could be doing that.
Okay, so that's still to be determined. It will be granted.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just basically.
And we can see waste in that, yeah. That would be really good to get some people that, codified or memorialized, because that would work really great to whatever. How would I also?
Maybe invite Wade to our next meeting perhaps.
Sure.
Or into something like that.
Good.
We came last summer, so.
Yeah. Okay. Matters from the director. Issue 3.
It is on the next agenda for the. Teton, was working on a draft comprehensive plan. I was very sick and could not go to the house, but occasionally. And actually, it, I'll forward you guys. That. We have a lot of stuff in there, especially regarding, you know, protecting your identity through recreation, landmarks and cultural assets. A lot of stuff about, walkability, bikeability, you know, improving existing stuff, as well as upgrading things. Which much over that. You know, we have rails to trails there, you know, the river is also right there. They're wanting to do something with their historic grain silos. One idea there throughout was like some kind of teen center or community center. So they're excited to cooperate with us.
So some of those grading, buildings, all his own property.
They wanna utilize it and just, you know, celebrate their history there in town. Communities there. Have rodeo grounds. Which they're. That's good. It'll be on, it's listed on their EPA. So the rodeo grounds is a great place to expand into trails. Walking tracks. From the county, there's a new county manager, Billy something, they haven't updated. Okay, Billy used to be with the sheriff's department.
He was the prosecutor.
I knew that like the name Billy sounded familiar, but I didn't, but no, they haven't updated the website. Brand new, so I didn't want to jump right. So again, so we'll be working on rebuilding that relationship. Yeah. Oh. The county successfully submitted a grant application for the base river access. We get their results in August for that. But as far as their fiscal 26 budget, there's $15,000 for river stuff. The QR codes that they're wanting to put up this year, are a donation, it's not a fee. So I think we're gonna be working on that sign and getting that out for this year. The brand ambassadors, they weren't able to afford it last year, but I think they're still interested in keeping that program alive. And then we got fairgrounds. Fair was moved up a week, which is attention, I think, at this point. They still want to build a shelter instead of renting a large tent. This is a project that they had brought to us at the end of last year when we were looking for things, and we discovered we probably really take the base, be able to build something like that. And other things that have come up
fairground specifically is there's gonna be another 100-year participation between 4-H and FFA. And they're probably gonna need some more panels and cages, to contain all the critters. And purchasing something like that would be tied to a facility. In the past, groups like 4-H have purchased them themselves. But anything like that, that we have the building time to that, so we have the use for. So there. And then, so the county's still at the end of the office space.
Sorry, we're domestic there, right? That's no
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. Beyond this,
The fairgrounds are under the direction of commissioners go, correct?
Yep.
Alright, so they're not their own independent, I mean, they have their own board, but they're just sort of like an advisory board. Is that how we deal with them? So the county JPA would cover our work with the fairgrounds, is that?
If they're quite yes, it's listed as a specific facility.
There's some bulk things with fairground, because they have them, so. Tax.
Well, they have their own line item within the tax. They're thinking about starting a tax district is what I think actually.
Okay, that's better.
They're thinking about starting their own tax, but I don't know, I feel like. We could do a lot with the rec district over there, and not add to taxing.
Yeah, okay, so, I mean, no, I would share that opinion, and I would say that I just want to be clear, or make sure I understood that the relationship is there, which is. The fair board is saying to the commissioners, here we have a need for panels and for the town fair, we work with the rec district, but ultimately they would want to have. The BOCC's, you know, consent for something like that, or at least get on the
Hours.
yeah.
I think the county commissioner really care how many panels are at the fairgrounds. But I don't know, it's just the fairgrounds have been identified as. The recreational facilities of the county's responsible. So whether or not we fund it, maybe they do have to start their own. Actually, I don't know, but. It's going off of what was identified to the statute from the county, fairgrounds are.
Yeah, it's another reason they're talking about that. Because they have. Issue.
Their budget was cut $1,000.
That is a percentage.
What was in the check? Yes, I mean, yeah, because they have their own board, I'm not sure which decisions they make at their meeting, but then we need to kind of go to the commissioners, so. Financial facilities are still under. County and submit their budget department.
Yeah.
We got a new county manager, so we gotta go back and. Rehash some of this stuff probably, and priorities got typical, especially if looking into going. The 2027 budget, it would be nice if we already had. Projects that we have to, this year, that we're still playing catch up that, working now. Also, the county is office space, we were looking at that office space over at the annex building. Suzanne was hoping to have numbers when she just passed on the 17th. Katie wanted to look into other options, and I think that's a valid point. They're taking a really long time to get this in order and do something, so. Maybe we'll look into any.
Yeah, it'll be whatever the future district office looks like, but I was just working from there. So.
Yeah.
With the idea that this is gonna go.
Is there?
A temporary solution, Adam, until you have a permanent.
Yeah, we need to, I mean, we need to put in whatever we're, the money, if we rent something from the town, that should make. Do we need to, we need to. Talk to the commissioner, do we need to say, get this pushed through, is there something?
And I mean, the money, they wanted to specifically spend it on improvements to that. So that was how this whole thing came about, was they had. IT needed some remodeling done around their office space in there. And so it's like, well, if you have a vacant office space that we could rent, we could have money towards the improvements. These county facilities, so. But it's gonna be the taxpayers on that way
Oh, yeah.
versus, paying some developer, to make improvements to their office space.
So what's holding that up?
It's just kind of got put on people's back burner around the holidays. A lot of people were gone, like, and Suzanne's not in Hammond, so. 17th. And she said she's back and ready to focus on them. She was also spearheading the grant efforts for the weights for the classes. But we can be open to other options if Katie finds something else, but. He's, with the compost room. Public.
I would say, we've got to run the counties the ground. But it's not an option wholeheartedly, or either too much effort into commercial lease somewhere else. That's my opinion, and she's back with that team, and feeling that this can, happen quickly. I would say to you, I pursuing that.
Yeah, I think it's better to use them. Put it back in.
But also having some comps for what's out there, isn't that idea also to go to the table with, okay, well, this is what you guys have and you're offering us, but look what we can get for this.
Having looked at rental space in the past.
Well, and I would agree, though, I feel like part of our, just be the open process here is this. Ethically. Make sure we're. Ethical, get my points,
I'm good. Whatever you guys want.
No, it's,
Honestly, it's whatever you guys want, so. However you guys want to do this.
Well,
I'm just here for the ride.
maybe by our next meeting, Katie will have, the 1-3 comps that are, commercial enterprises. Sarah could have, or you have Suzanne on these options. Yeah.
Okay, next on our agenda. Proposals for the update. And I had a chance to read through the people also going to see the.
yes,
Thoughts.
We skipped over the advisory committee applications.
Oh, did we? Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
we did.
my list, I thought my list was wrong.
Oh, sorry, good. I'll do this, sorry. That. Okay. We got a couple more applications.
For the advisory committee, I could not find the updated signed resolution document. Because we did make some updates to the document that we had in full.
With Teton Sports and Wellness.
No, they right, this is for our advisory. Our,
Look one in. The resolution, so that isn't, that's the draft, it's, David, one, that's the last one I can find is.
I'm not sure if that was back in November, so that's just been something else. See how that holds. See what you should have there. Following the proper steps here.
So we think we're missing.
Let me see that sign.
That's the signed resolution.
She's the she was using her husband's DocuSign for us to sign these things. There was one.
I got to sign account that we can use.
I mean, lost something we do. Strict. Where software, I'm not sure what's on. What software? Yeah. Oh, that was the DocuSign from like Like.
What's this resolution?
So if you go to the minutes from 11/10/25. We had a roll call. Oh wait, we didn't have the roll call later, it was. We voted to. Adopt the resolution to create the advisory committee.
And that was the sign.
And yeah, we had some updates to it. Okay. In our minutes, it is noted that the actual changes we needed to make to it. But we did not. The resolution, creation of Teton personnel affiliation district advisory committee. Said roll call, I don't. Say that. City council will need a motion to approve resolution number 225-302. There's to make a change. In section 3, not only the district defining specific representatives, so a broader definition of recreation. If people make a change to require committee members to be residents of Teton. Number of members be changed from 7 down, from 7 to 11 down to 5 to 9.
It's the other.
Section 5, paragraph 1, committee members should follow the same as board directors. In that section, it's just about running these. On the motion to approve it as edited above. The resolution creating. Second and passed.
Well, we contract.
I'll also, it was stuff that Holly and I have been doing,
Yeah.
you know, as far as shooting the document, the DocuSign, I would sign it.
So
And I just don't have access to it anymore.
for our actions today. It's the 5. 9 members. And
It's like the term on the should have this reflect 2 spots, which is. We spelled out how many, when we were applying as the first board, certain number of people have 3 years, a certain number of people have 2 years, and a certain number of people. But it was a range, so we could see that last. Still last.
okay, so with that understanding, we need to track that down. Yeah, this is, it's 11 codes here. Review.
You know, I've been through them, I made, you know, I just wrote out a list and just sort of did a off the cuff scoring of them. I thought that, based on that, I felt comfortable to out. Sort of, I tried 2 people, I said, oh, there's a couple things where I go, I think that's not as strong as some of the others, the rest of them were just a range of how we value their strengths. It's interesting to me that we did around 9 and 11, really. You want to start with what we think the target number ought to be based on responsible living, or I don't know if you guys have thoughts. I think we also talked about thoughts about the quarterly number. I think it's also the idea of identifying buckets for areas of influence that might the advisory committee will have, and see if it's into each of those roles that we have a way to.
As I approach this, we can assign people to 1 year terms, so if we are not a strong candidate or have other things going on, maybe those are the 1 term people. I mean, we've already got these people that are interested, that wanna participate. Next year, there'll be openings again. Just be good to get this kind of off the ground and not mess around with it anymore. Once these folks meeting and sharing their opinions. How I approached it.
So we're trying to maximum 9, or which is best.
9 people with each with 1 year terms.
So we have to use some 3 and some 2. So my suggestion is maybe go back to less strong candidates. We do the 1 year term.
Okay.
There's 2 people that, we really think it all.
Jason, how do we want to start? We want to pick, the top. Folks. We just, we've got them all listed here. Which wants? Use it. Or do we want to just say, here's somebody I think that should be.
Maybe start there and eliminate.
Okay.
Or maybe we do get below the 9 spots if we don't finish.
Yeah, the only, you know,
Participate, we should let them.
yeah, the only, you know, I did break way out and. Like, you know, it's a. Motorsports type person. It's a group. You know. That's it. Yeah, maybe some of these people here, I don't know, you know, some of them don't listen, you know. Connection.
I mean, there's a lot of mountain experience, which I think also can be translated to the motorized fairly, so it's
Couple shaky head. Okay, so,
I've been known to motor around things before, I can make sure. That'd be going for that group.
okay, so it's, any we suggest we get, hold on, we have two.
2 that I flagged, were, Tony for VC. Now, so I know Tony, I think he's a great guy, I think he could be a good contributor, but in his application, he had concerns about his commitment to time. And I kind of thought that was a, you know, an odd comment to be making, so that was why I supported him a little bit lower. If he has the time commitment, we should listen to him.
So that's meaning that's why you continue apply being on the board or running for an opening position. No. This is definitely less time than what we're putting in. So that's how I took state.
That's good.
So I actually had him make this up in the terms. It's based on his experience with events and.
Okay.
I'm sure that you went out the gate, we'll just rip yours apart. Yeah, throw us another one, Matt, that we, you know.
Well, I mean, it's, yeah, I think, I guess I should kind of point and state that the break will have this entire group. If they're in rain, maybe I'll just go down the list with some like comments on each individual and we'll post it up. So, Jason West, I thought there was something interesting there relative to his sports tech background. Maybe with this, I briefly looked into the company Huddle and what they do, and I don't think it's a direct translation, but as we look at our calendaring and sign up, having someone who has a technological bent, I think is helpful. Next we had Claire Brand, of course. Claire seemed like a really strong candidate with the work at MBT program director and one director, just herself busy summer and winter. She was, I thought, one of the strongest candidates we had on application with other sponsorships always. Jody Baraka, I thought was a well-written one, but I didn't see sort of a specific area that we talked to her. It's a little bit more general. Although I do want to find out what the Idaho Master Naturals are. That was news to me. That was great. Oh, you are. Cool. Ted Nichols seemed, to be, could be a good link up there with the Hunters Association. That seemed meaningful. Ray, I thought, we heard from him last month, obviously all the efforts to get this rec district off the ground. I think there's a really nice piece there with Ray. Is that Ray? That's my wife. So just say that she and I obviously get involved in various efforts and asked her to, well, she asked us over how to remain to represent the pushback right groups or Tony, I mentioned again, I think, he does have a lot of great experience. I suppose I would be cautious with having a 7-person board with 4 members that were TV or otherwise that will bicycle with the make sure to balance that and get a great outspoken group. Obviously a key partner, but just in the effort of keeping, trying to maintain balance. I think that's something we should roll at with these committee members.
Who else do you see? You think of nominating them back that pushing?
I think, yeah, exactly. He's a former NBT. I don't know if he's director board member something that is. You didn't mention a mountain biking background. I really liked some of what she was talking about in terms of the grassroots efforts that she's shown in Plains. Watching that zoning application, is supposed to be some others have been, but I really value people that take action. That's what that. Melanie Reagan, I thought was a great high score as well. Tagging the accessibility adaptive piece. Really like seeing that. Keelan Kelly and Kelly Milligan, I think both had interesting backgrounds and opportunities to contribute, but again, very specific sort of influence that's what it would elevate it to an obvious choice, sort of both of the choices. It's been a run keep with.
Your thoughts, sure.
Yeah, like I said, I also looked at geographic location. I actually went through and typed in everyone's address, just to see where they're at. Claire is the only one who's on District 3. Everyone else falls within District 3.
Okay.
So to me, she with her experience as well, a great candidate for division. So that's how I ranked people by turn. We put you there. Jason W. Got IT sports background, volunteer firefighter also.
He's listening good for West. I was thinking a 2 or 3 year term. I had 2 initially, but after the meeting class. Wait also. Was changing and you know, 3 year term. Joni, she's a healthcare professional, naturalist, she lives Driggs East. She was one of the ones that maybe like all the 1 years I kind of probably Ted, I had him as a 3 year representing Driggs. He actually was right on the line. So it was on the north side of the road. So yes. Yeah, so his association, Driggs Association, we work for and Press Rec, also work for the YMCA, seems like those kind of connections and experience are relevant. Yeah, Ray, and things involved, I had him down as a 1 year, just because I don't know, I kind of like to hear from a broad, like we've heard from, and which I really appreciate his discussion. Liz, I had her 1 or 2 years, the equestrian background as well as the arts council. It's another experience that we don't really have represented anywhere else. So I guess I'd probably be doing more versus two there. With the bigger area kind of being covered 5 days. Keelan, I had as 2 or 1. He's got a lot of technical, like tech stuff going for him. Teton Valley Foundation, work with him and happy trails. Another equestrian type background. No, yeah, I also highlighted the ADA experience at first and 2 years. Ellie, the veterinarian, and then Olympian. Oh, sorry, I wasn't saying that. You guys, I don't know, those were all. We're back to Driggs East. She was just a baby, like I'm really happy she wants to participate. I'm sure we have some good input selected for 1 year term. And then community, I have her down as a recreation advocate, as I she's one of the clients. She also lives in Driggs East.
Who did you not?
Oh, who would I have?
Someone you did.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'm just trying to make it easy for me.
Well, we already talked about talking. Like I said, I would be like, this is after. The basement, go 3 years and stuff. As far as the movie, I didn't really want to get something else. The 3 people, I think that I had possibly for
Is Ray Driggs.
just, yeah, so a lot of the groups possibly, yeah.
Tony's Victor. Just having a spreadsheet here and going.
Victor.
I think Ray, the one that process to involve. Yeah, I'm kind of, I guess if I had to. Kind of looking at Joni and Kelly, probably. Both. Both good. Um, But I think we have, in some sense. We want to think of that age groups too. And I think we have, we have, um. We have representation from. Older people. And we need to, so we want to put that, we think they'll, we can. I don't know, we can. Older people, folks.
Are they both
Application.
What's that?
Can we take, I don't think we can.
Oh, no, well, I mean, we're not hiring somebody for employment.
Well, I know,
Yeah,
because I have the advantage of running.
Oh, okay, I was just,
For me, so.
yeah, I get, yeah, I don't mean to be struggling with like case, I'm just saying, trying to represent different folks from different, we've got we got single people, we got young family people, we got kids. And we have more, I don't know, we have a balance of that, so try to figure out how to eliminate that with people.
I don't disagree at all.
It's
Got us, I think parents of kids participating in sports is it's a big chunk of
right.
recreation here. Getting that feedback from them, what they're seeing in those various organizations, I think is really important. On the other hand, the older members of our valley might have a little more free time and really contribute. So I think that's an experience. Yeah. So kind of balancing that as well.
Yeah, so I guess maybe thinking of that.
And to answer your question, we can presume the age of some of the individuals here. I don't. There's a couple in there. Well, if you were in the Olympics in 19 whatever, I run it back, but.
Yeah, I guess if I look through that, with the communities. I'm trying to say, to have a couple of weeks sort of generate. Those two do seem to along.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Kelly, Millie, don't know her, but her speaking of her, I mean, really impressive background, but a lot of it was. I like to recreate and I want to give back. It wasn't a specific thing about how her veterinary business skills would translate or anything like that. I think it's sort of a little open-ended. Same thing I think with John. So, well, I think that's admirable. It's not necessarily defining a role for each of them.
I like the naturalist background. That was a little different than folks have on residents.
Master naturalists, you're asking a question to the organization, basically, we're gonna get volunteers, and so. We are. We're about. Master should have master. That's what that is. This would be somebody else then. Yes. Yeah.
I guess you don't need that.
So just to kind of share with responding to some of your feedbacks there in terms of the 3 of 1 and 2, someone said that that's okay to rank some of these individuals. So I heard you rank Kelly as a 1, Keelan Kelly as a 1 or 2, Liz as a 1 or 2, Ray as a 1 or 2. So I didn't have what you had for Joan.
She was just one of the 3 I had left, I guess, filling out the ones.
We're gonna be made happy. So, those would be also the list, I would put them to.
Okay.
Everyone else would attach to their.
Okay, so it seems like if you would kind of agree. You've got a listing for one go through this portion, and then you've got your proposed duration. See.
Where? Read. Supposed to be the only one who found it. BCW, I have as a 3. Generally, Lily. Ed as a 3, as a Driggs representative. Right,
That's, we've got that Driggs doing the 3 here,
I
there.
don't know what you're trying to tell me, but at least Claire is out in the west side of the county.
District 3, though, yeah, okay.
But Ray, 1 year. Liz, 2 years. 2 year. Elin, 1 year. Melanie, 2 years. Kelly, 1 Unity, 2 years.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 years, 2 1 years, and 3 3 years. So,
We could have 2 to 5. Loan returns, 3 to 5, 2 year terms, and 3 to 4 terms.
You wanna make a motion with those terms? I mean,
Something I really can. Second, I just.
yeah,
There's one more here, so I can.
yes. Okay, I'll make the motion. I make the motion to invite Tony Lucy. For a 2-year term, the Nichols for a 3-year term. Unity Nolan for a 2-year term. Is it 3? Unity Nolan for a 2-year term. Melanie Criggin for a 2-year term. Ray Lane, the 1-year term. Fred Rogers for a 3-year term. Elizabeth Thackeray for a 2-year term. And Jason West for 3 years.
second that motion.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Hate that, that'll be the one.
Maybe big question.
Okay, now, let's move on to 2 proposals we received here.
Really quick, I do have to keep us on time, just because I've requested to make sure that we are staying within our 2-hour time limit for this meeting today.
Yeah, I'm watching the project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We had 2 proposals, the trust for the public land, and one for harmony design. General thoughts, on the responsibilities. I looked through both, and I think they both are responsive. That's what we thought we needed. Kind of my notes, looking at what they propose and approach. They were similar, it seemed like harmony and bit more focus on the specifics that we asked for. To update the plan with the public portion of that. And like the refresher public plan is a little bit broader, trying to get a lot more analysis in the process than we really. Like general.
Basically something.
Yeah.
From experience, from qualification standpoint, we both have. A good background, with the time of the project, harmony, especially with going out from local work. Or valley. We also been, whether it's set of. Searching point for the job, use, pressure public lands and we want. Natural resources and use. Specific. Plan. Right, so.
Did I miss it in harmonies where a fee was quoted?
They both provide this feature.
Where I must have missed that.
That's a fact. The separation of the second.
Okay. Did you reference the panel and options?
Over the. Files.
Got it. Is it an Excel file?
It is a, so. How many people? Yeah, but. I think first we should just respond to. Qualifications.
Yeah, I agree with both those points. And I think there's actually the most critical points. I give a lot of weight to who answers the questions of the prompts the most accurately. And I think the 70s being just some relevant experience in Idaho, big level, we know this area, the long track record here, a lot of confidence in RDP.
We did talk with. The young city. Satisfaction with the public input process. People said. Great, they weren't happy with the public. Because we never do that. The Torres problem, we were getting the public actually involved.
Yeah, sure. It's a really good point though, John. And maybe we'll speak to a focus for us in supporting whoever we choose is our outreach efforts to make sure we're getting that input that we think we really don't need, right? All the way to most, I don't know, is that person who's
In timelines, I know if you. Well, very soon. 12 months. Okay, it's done. So that's next. Or one gets started. Okay, that's one next month, so that's. Yeah, yes. It's spice.
Yeah.
We're looking at offers.
TPL was about 3 months long. So. I think the next time.
We start seeing.
Think that maybe one little bit, not what we got to access to see. Put the focus on the funds, public outreach, with the projects, leads. see what we can do, rearrange things. Get who's there can help us, is that really investigates.
Okay.
Commissioners, we just created our own advisory committee. Will they create their own? And
Okay, like, you know, but, how many kind of providers is part of that option, you said the budget, maybe, and what else,
a list of something we're going to
yeah.
approach or accountable. So, yes, there's money in there, since we just did work on that. And we feel like we can, our committee to review the time as well from our side. We hold back the universe and say, hey, you're not gonna be involved in that process, you can help us evaluate it.
No, I think we let them, I mean, I think we need them as part of that process. As part of it, we're bringing them on. If we need to bring other people in to do it. Yes.
Same thing on the administrative review. I remember, yes, but it is part of the process as well.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing, I'll make a motion. Interest. Okay, I'll make a motion. Make a motion to the world. We update to the whole recommendation. And so we have to find. To follow. Negotiation.
As you.
Sorry, didn't ask for any.
Well,
discussion.
no,
We
it's
can discuss.
that was since your motion sort of answered it in terms of entering into negotiations, right? There's a couple of optional items in there. There's a couple of schedule questions. Thinking we're I would just argue that the story map edition, I think, is really good value because it visualizes a lot of this information. The website, expanded outreach, I don't feel we're right constantly.
Is a good one. Stuff. It's just being able to put a link on our website, not absolutely add anything else besides that link, and they're doing all the updating on their own. But it seems like a streamlined process and not put extra work on the staff.
Just add $6,000 value, you guys deal with Erica. I just haven't paid for website development for anyone, and it's reasonable memory. Is that a reasonable cost there, or is it something?
And it's pretty much, yeah, six to 1,000. So it's just a weekday.
Okay.
And then outreach was something we identified as a priority. Originally,
Yes.
so we could put some extra funds towards that. Again, you give them the staff. They on that kind of thing.
Yeah, Katie, if she knows. She hasn't yelled and screamed yet. That's when you know you push your staff hard enough.
I guess my comment on that would be give us a little more definition around this.
I would agree with that. They could have another guy. But I'm in that. Negotiations.
Well, I'll go ahead and you put name and Katie, go ahead and meet with these folks. I think that, do some confusion. Look at the cost. Let's get one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
That's. Next on the agenda, budget. That you want to discuss the budgeting process from last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
We pull it up. We go there.
I think, and I did a little thinking about this and we're finally, so we've got, we budgeted, we had about our old people. And well, natural and legally bound to talk about. And then we've got those, I think, we said,
Are you talking about this hearing budget? My
Yeah.
file here?
Yeah.
So the hearing budget represents line itemization that is required to provide.
it's the number of the maximum tax.
Oh,
Yeah. So
And
it's
it's-
distribution from this game.
but so only the property tax levy value is the only thing we just sort of. Everything else is fungible.
We can move around if we.
Okay,
But I don't know that we need to do the whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the second is we roll up to that second level roll. This is kind of where, this is the level we kind of think presently. He's taking anything to.
Yep.
And I need to know, Joe. Put our budget in the QuickBooks. I haven't reviewed how it's on the street with this. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I was kind of getting at, as far as wanting to see the bank statement, it was more of something like this, the breakdown of where the movies being spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one month is it.
in terms of October 25, January 26th, that breakdown you're saying?
Yeah.
Like this type of report is what we
Yes.
should be seeing every week,
Okay.
not necessarily the big stuff.
Right, I was thinking, thank you.
But it was like the one thing I knew we had that was on the.
Yeah, and so we need to here, I think, is, I'll go ahead and do this. Bounce it against what we have here, and then I'd like to. Because we've also started, we set aside funds for. Driggs, from specific. And if we can pull those at this point, say those are our numbers, plus or minus 10% for you. And to use for those.
So that was one of my bigger questions was how the village values.
So when, again, if you're looking at the same spreadsheet, when we met with, let's say, Victor, we met with the city of Victor. You look at that spreadsheet, these were their requests, the things they thought they needed help with. As far as backlog of agents and things like that. And so we use that as kind of our use basis for what we, and that is noted in the document itself. It was only used for planning purposes, or be solid, this is what it will be used for. Sure. But it gave us an ability to sort of say this is how much money. We can pull out. Now, once the JPA is in place, we can start sooner, start developing more projects.
Sure.
So we have some current costs associated with those. And then forward and say, yeah, those good. So don't need to match exactly and do that's what we use this basis that we had. We had nothing built from, so we have to build some basis.
Is the even if I think that sounds great, but even above that, I wonder is the value of 199,500 Driggs, 91,765 in Teton, and 136,625 in Victor. Those top line values, were those arrived at as a percentage of population or no? And so is there
It was like that, it really was,
Yeah.
we kind of sort of did this.
Yeah. And I just wonder how you guys feel about the need to have some sort of more definitive distribution based on population.
Well, I mean, the population is the count, this is for everyone, everything that's on the list of things we're doing is supposed to be including everyone, so like, last time we talked about like the neighborhood parks. Is it a park that's conducive for someone to come out from Sebring and drive that park? Use it, or is it meant for the residents of that? So we definitely looked at that kind of support. Yeah, I think we need to just look at this as how does it benefit everyone? Not just that population.
Sure.
You know, the parks, we all use the parks in all cities.
Sure, but I'm at Ruby Carson twice a year and Sherman 150 times a year, you know, so yeah, I think there's a value in being open because it gives us great latitude to work on things. I just also feel the responsibility if someone in Victor is like, why is, you know, $250,000 going to Ruby Carson and why is 150 going to Sherman? And we've got some rationale for how we're setting aside and making decisions. And it could be, the simple answer could be that Parks and Rec District evaluates things on a case by case basis. And we set those things every year. And what's currently in spreadsheet reflects the needs that we've heard. And that's why we're doing it. And we don't look at it in buckets, but we're looking at it comprehensively. I just wanted to kind of hear more about how you guys think about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way I feel, it's kind of more comprehensive work, it's, you know, I don't care what happens in the podium, but maybe I should. You know, really, and it was, so we're looking at the broad sense, so. I think part of what we try to do, we're looking at, okay, what are the. Always coming back and saying backlog meetings, but
Yeah.
you know, and in some cases, I think the government's got a big backlog. So they had less than work. And so it makes sense, maybe put more on percentage of the population for them. And so I think as, you know, as we move forward, I think hopefully there's, maybe it starts to become something that's more consistent, but you know, the Victor can rely on us for taking it out support of a certain percentage. But I think in the near term, really, I think we need to kind of go with where those needs are, and people come to us and say, this is a high level need we have now. As opposed to saying, well, we've already given all the money to Driggs, so therefore. In my mind, that's
Yeah, I think that's sounds good. I would say I would expect in the future, though, after maybe a year or two of this process, that Victor, Driggs, and Teton are each coming with $750,000 of you know, needs. Right, and then we're gonna go, okay, well, how are we parsing this budget back to what's actually reasonable? And if we had some type of guideline that could be like, well, you know, let's just use the population proportion as a strong argument for this sake, but to say that if Victor is 33% of the population, I think whatever, 20%, Driggs is 30, Teton is 10, county's the rest or whatever, and that as we allocate funds for specific facility or program projects, we would be within some range of that, you know, so you're allocating this much, but it can flex this way up or down. I don't know, I just wonder.
So why don't we do this, Steve, will move. Why don't you, like, do a while, so think of a process, so we know.
Yeah,
But it might be good to kind of walk through those different options, and how we could maybe come up with something in the future that might even.
yeah, I mean, you guys have answered the main question I had, so thank you. And I would say what I would do to that, John, is probably work on the statute concept that I talked about when I was running.
Wow.
And I think that's a little bit of a way to formalize our process.
Yeah, no.
So if you guys don't mind, I think I will have a draft of that for next month. That's something to look at, and this could be a part of it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. Oh, sure, sure.
That's nice. Doesn't know how to transfer into legal investment in our funds. It is in our statute, to invest any funds of the district not been required for district purposes in any securities of the state or the United States in time, certificates with a deposit authorized.
Joe was gonna look.
Yeah, we spoke on that one, Joe said she's more than happy to come in and talk to us further about, you know, just kind of going off with what Sarah and I are with Teton and the everything.
Maybe we add
Okay,
a special meeting and move that quickly, because one of the concerns I have is that $1 billion in the bank, we are exceeding our FDIC limits. So something I do is in my own business is there's a program a lot of banks run where they will take your funds and disperse them to different accounts. So I shouldn't have about that, to make sure we've got FDIC protection for all money withholding. It's an important first step. And then I think, you know, whether it is some type of low risk or something like that.
Okay, so you should look at the local government investment pool. Teton just dropped their funds account, this is this. It's all government agencies investing money. It's not FBI insured, but it is. So if we're gonna invest, it's not gonna be FBI insured, but we could stand for records.
Do you know? Percentage.
No, their website's actually really good. I feel it's so good for the job. So
That's-
you about moving on to the
I did a question,
government
that's-
investment pool.
Yeah,
They have a really good website. And they explain a lot of stuff right there.
I can invite Joe to the next meeting too, and she can explain this further, she knows what Teton has done a little bit more depth than Sarah and I do, so. I'll reach out to Joe, and arrange for her to come to the meeting and discuss this possibility.
And then did Katie get access to this?
I don't have access to QuickBooks, as far as paying bills, I talked to Joe about that, and she said there's no reason right now for us to be going. Just do it the way that I have been doing it, which is get checked for that part.
Okay,
$9,589 in fees,
I just love this rule.
and that's now the total.
Yeah.
that also included their.
Yeah, right.
So that's a one time expense.
Yeah, and then, yeah. Okay, moving on, let's skip 9.1, move to 10. Invoice review and approval. Yeah, invoice 88,130, mind what that on this page.
That is for, our legal.
Okay. Oh, that's the number of the law for, okay, yes, good. MTSPD for $337. And we also have, Joe, bookkeeping for $478.
I make a motion to approve both those invoices. To no rules.
Second, by motion, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Executive director updates.
Website is up. I updated the work plans to make it a little bit more clear on who has led. It's now done on both forms, so they're just on one sheet. So if you guys want to click through that at your leisure, and let me know if you would like any updates or you would like me to move work around or add to each. That is in our shared drive. Yes. Met with Erica, she
Just one
is,
question on the website. If you search for it, I can't find
what's that?
our website. I just need to search. You get it, let's see, you know,
We're gonna have to get it listed.
okay,
So right now, what I've been doing is just adding our website to everything, including Facebook.
then we need to figure out, I don't know how to do it, no, I did get that, one turned private, the Bucks Handrec website, it's not private.
Yes,
But how do we get that?
we're gonna have to go through a whole process of changing our site over from Civic to purchase that, to get that to be our W.
We don't have to
You have
change
two
that.
domains. The website, you have two domains, right? Both should be the same place. That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah,
I don't know, I just know what I'm working with right now, and that's what Civic, that's what they started off with Erica. Was that domain,
right,
if you guys want me to change it?
no.
Add. Have multiple domains associated with it.
Okay,
We're
I'll-
just
I'll
trying
look
to
into it.
capture
I'll ask
everything
them how
like
it is,
take people to a place we don't want to go.
Yeah, a lot of company, Google owns gogle.com and I said to people. Yeah, sometimes I didn't.
And then maybe also get the counties,
So the county on their page, they have something entitled taxing districts, and right now it just goes to like.
I'll reach out to all the cities and let them know there'll be a site up for them to add our site to them, to their websites. I'll relate to their websites to the title.
They're not kicking us out.
Yeah.
For plan update. We'll get out there. We did it, last, we talked about, and breaking out section and making sure we sign this and, associated with them. Well, we're thinking about that, we thought we did bypass, we talked about pickleball. They've been running pickleball. Ever.
Since 2017, yes.
Yeah, it's not a nonprofit, it's just a group of people got together, pickleball. They were collecting money and like most pickleballists are terrorists, and so they're haunting the city. Courts may build all these things,
We raised $90,000 for the books.
they did raise a lot.
Which course?
The outdoor courts, the Rose Park, big courts. Yes.
Yeah.
They're visible, they are, yeah.
And so they approached us a couple times, they've been wants to be one of those spots. Yeah, and but seeing if that's something the district would like help take over, because they were sort of managing themselves. And whether we want to help with that program, and have some funds they would. Give in our account for us to be managers.
Depending on what else we find out, but one of the questions that I wrote down, is, and I think we might have talked about this with you, Katie, but are you working with any groups that work indoors? That would be around here, that's gonna be the schools, if we don't have any. So that's part of our issues, we have, some of the time, we work on the course that we have to pay for. And, so we're tuned in with City of Driggs on that. But our biggest issue really is, the bigger school. Is a lot more hard to manage, we have a lot of people, they don't all come at once, I'm not saying that, but it's a big group.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what we're looking at trying to do is set up how we can build the school with. So what that would allow us to do is what those agreements with the are basically saying we jointly own the facility. The facility drop.
giving your district, your rec district, but jointly on some big schools.
Correct, just like we're doing with the cities and town. And if they decide to pursue that, we can say, wow, they spend money. Because under the statute, we can only spend money on, except for swimming, we can only spend money on facilities. And then we own, so that what basically drives each other. And so if the school district will enter into this agreement, then we'll be able to potentially go into the some. So in the evening, for example, when school's done, in the evening, if the rec district will run programs that run So, they change, so. It's not unprecedented, it's not unprecedented, so.
And you probably already know this, but we already probably have an agreement with when we get to play and we pay the fees. We get kicked off anytime the school needs it, which makes sense. I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but I'm just saying, if you're talking about being able to take over a facility for certain times, you're still gonna find that you can't. do
Sure, I mean,
on a
that
regular
helps.
basis. Yeah.
But the school, of course, gets first dibs on all their. Absolutely. Yeah.
That would get the agreements.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
John, we just had a visitor at the door checking us. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, you guys, we're really locked on our 2 hour. I kinda got a little bit of scolding of us going over last time, so.
So.
If the longer meeting was than some of the others.
Not really.
It was, I mean,
You just,
We,
well, let's do this.
Yeah.
Just for, formally close the meeting.
well, Ben, can we find out one thing before we go into those?
And then, after we talk about those things, yes.
What's that, so?
spending a brain, which actually, I mean. That's the reason.
Which is an authorization, the second one.
Yep.
So e-spending, on our 10/14/25 meeting, the executive session authority and the action item, we approved the spending authority for the executive director in the amount of $500. So this would be the amount of, you know, we don't have to have a meeting about it. I'm sure she's gonna check it in, but that's her authority. We also approved the $4,000 to start.
What's that? Do we make a motion on that? Okay.
That's what,
Yes. I wanted to talk about your time in 2 hours and should we do this via next because you know. I'd rather do that than find out we need 2 special meetings in a month. Finish, I don't know how, you know, everyone has their personal lives, I just thought we should maybe get consensus around how it's relative to the time pressures.
Yeah, well, you even tell you came, we never know. Yeah.
Can I get that?
But also, we've never been confined by they're doing the one that all go up.
Okay.
There'll be a while.
Yeah.
I think we can.
Okay.
I actually got that on the last meeting, but we didn't have time to talk about it.
Okay.
So.
Do you want to do the next?
Yeah, next works for me.
Let's do that.
We'll make a motion, well, we can have it,
We don't have an action item for it.
make a, we can change it and make it a form of that.
Well, I got to the agenda for the formal.
Yeah.
You can put it on a special meeting agenda?
We can do it on the special meeting, we're gonna do a special meeting for the JPA, we're gonna finalize whatever we're doing with the RFP as well, yes?
Yeah.
At the special meeting, we'll
Potentially.
have that discussion too,
Potential.
okay, then we'll add this one, just change the venue.
Okay.
And then as far as special meeting, really on some most potential for one of the advantages is you only have to have one person on location, so if you just need to approve something, just need to come and so this agenda. Maybe one person needs to be at the location. Some proof things for the
Great.
so.
Yeah, I'm all for doing honestly the minimum as we need. It's more just this meeting is the bulk of our work and we should involve ourselves. Need.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we need to, it's good to have a long discussion. Also, have to know.
Sure, yeah. So does that require a motion or is this just something we'll talk about as a meeting?
With that,
Great.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Clear?
Aye.
For the special meeting, if everybody could please send me your agenda items so I can get that built as soon as possible, that'd be awesome.
What are we thinking about today?
If you can seriously, the names of people who were all selected.
No, that's okay. We were just curious, I couldn't have all of that, I didn't know all the last time and some for me to say, we were just curious,
It's really basic, so
County County Planning District, which is Madison County, in Jefferson and Teton County. They have an MOU.
yes, they
They
do.
have an MOU with the Forest Service for housing
Right.
and daycare.
It's just.
Yes, that was me, the framework already.
Yes, but.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Special Katie and I all meeting.
Oh,
Break it up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're done.
Very good.
Taking over, huh? But
I see.
It's off.
So we're just gonna go into executive session and.
Okay.